Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of Curious About Kakuro. Before I start this week's episode, I forgot last week to upload the run diagrams that I said I would. So here they are on the screen. Just quickly go through them. These are all the numbers that you will ever need to know for any Kakuro problem. It tells you what the numbers can be, what they can't be, what's always used. So if you want to go through these, they're readily available online. They may be a little bit hard to see because there's a lot of information on the screen, but you can zoom in on them, print them out, have a look at them. But this just shows you here. We've actually put some of them up there before, but this is one thing this is the only one that you need. It covers every single option you got. So it's got at the first page there the 2 and 3 run options and the ones that have got no options. Also the 4 and 5, the same thing. The next one is the 6 and 7 run options, and then the 8, and obviously there is only one 9 run option which uses all the digits on it. So yeah, sorry, I forgot to put those up last week. So yeah, have a look at those. It just gives you the technical side of how these numbers are structured. The more you remember, the more you know, the more you practice, the quicker and easier and naturally these things will become. So okay, let's get on to this week's episode. Thanks. Challenging puzzle, the same as before. And let's just see if there's anything that out of the ordinary that this one can spit up that might catch us out, or different ways of looking at things and different ways of thinking about things. And then the next time we'll go up to the top level, which is the expert level of puzzle. And we'll do a couple of those and we'll see how we go. We should be just about finished then. Okay, let's go across the top and just scan through and put the simple things in we know. And one thing I'll suggest to you is with these higher level ones, just be a little bit more careful of what you put in and what you take out. It is easy to make mistakes, so just go through a little bit slower. Okay, 8, 16, 9, 3, 34, no, the run there. Okay, with the 5 here, we know that it's a 2 option, and you can only be 1, 2, 3, 4. This can only be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 30, 11, 16 can only be 7 or 9. This can only be 7 or 9. And don't be too worried if you've got to scan through a couple of times before you even find a number on these. We know this can't be 1 or 2 either way. 10 here's got to be 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we've got 16, which is a 5 number run, so we know that can only be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Also in here we've got 15, so I know that the smallest number that can go in there and the highest number in this row is that has to be the 6 to make this the 9, which means that all the rest of these numbers can only be 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's put those in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm pretty sure this one here, yep, this one can only be 4 because it's going to be a no option run with 5 at 34, which is 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I can put the 4 in there and then reduce these ones on the horizontal now to just 1, 2, 3. This can only be 1, 2, 3. This can only be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so where can we go? 22, I know that's got to be the 7. So let's just go up from here. So that can only be 4. That can only be the 6. It can't be 7, 8, or 9 because there's not then going to be enough numbers to put in across to make up the 9. So we've got 4, 6, so this has got to be 7. Can't be anything else. So this could be the 8 and 9. This can be the 8 and 9. Now let's clean up after ourselves and start doing some eliminating. 6 and 3 is 9, so it can only be 1 or 2. This can only be 1 or 2, but this can't be the 1. This has to be the 2. This is the 1. 1 means that this has to be the 4. 2 means that this has to be the 9. 9 means this has to be the 8. And this has to be 9. Okay, 24, 8 and 4, so that is now going to make 21. So there's 6 left. So it can't be 4 and 2. It can only be 1 and 5. So I can put those in 1, 5, 1, 5. Okay, let's carry on from down here. 7, we know this can only be 1, 2, 3. This has to be the 3. 1 and 2 can't go in there. So this can only be 1 and 2. This can only be 1 and 2. So because this is now 3 numbers adding up to 27, it can only be 7, 8, 9. That can only be the 7. This now can only be the 8. So this has to be the 9. So 7 and 1 is 8. 16, now 2 numbers have got to add up to 15. So that's the 2 option high pairs, which is 6, 7, 8, 9. So in here can only go 6 or 7. And here's got to be 8 or 9. It can only be 8. So 7 and 8 is the 15. That's all that it can be. Here, 8, 9, this means that this has to be the 3 to make this the 5. So now we're looking at 5, 7, 8, 9, which we know add up to 29. This has to be the 1 to make 30. 1 means that this has to be the 2. This can't be 1 or 2. This has to be the 3. Because this is 2, this is 1. This now cannot be 1 or 3, so it has to be 2. This can't be 2 or 3, so it has to be 1, which means this is the 5, and the 5, now this is the 1. Already now we're starting to get big swathes of numbers that are working themselves out. 18 is now 17, which can only be 8 and 9. 9 means this has to be the 7, and 8 means this has to be 3. So let's work this out now. 7 and 3 is 10, 16 and 16 is 32. 2 numbers adding up to 17 can only be 8 and 9. So 8, 9, which means it's got to be 1 and 5. To make 29, it's got to be 5, 7, 8, 9. So we're very quickly getting through this puzzle. 12, no, that. Here we go now. With this can only be a row of 4, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously the 4 is the only one that can go there. It can't be 1 or 2, so it's got to be the 3. This can't be the 1, so it's got to be the 2. This then has to be the 1. 3 and 9 is 12. 9 and 3 is 12. This means that this has to be the 9 to make 11. So 22. Now we now got 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 10, which means that there's 12 left. So we know that in a row of 6, it can only be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 for 22. If it's 21, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know that it can only be 5 or 7. This has to be the 5. This has to be the 7. Because this can't be the 7, otherwise that we would only need 5 to get in 3 squares, which can't be done. Okay, so let's finish off this line. Now 5 that we know is left is that it has to be 7, which can only be 1, 2 and 4. I've got 1, 2 here, so this has to be the 4. So this can only be 1 and 2. Sorry, this has to be the 4. Yeah, this can only be the 2. This has to be the 1. Okay, 2. Now this we know it's got to be 7, 8, 9, so it can only be 7. This has to be the 8. This has to be the 9. 7 and 1 is 8. 8 and 3, so it can only be 2 and 1. And 5. And here to make 6 can only be 1, 2, 3. We're only looking at 2 numbers here to make 30. So let's just scan through. I'm sure we'll get them, we'll find them, we're narrowing them all down. 6 can only be 1, 2, 3. This can't be 1, so it can only be 2, 3. So this can be 1, 2, 3. This could be 1, 2, 3. This then can only be 8 or 9. In this one here, then to make 9, it can only be 6, 7 or 8. 25, 24, there's plenty of numbers. This can be 21. Okay, let's work on a few of the verticals now. 28, so I know that 4 is the smallest number that can go in there. This can only be a 8 or a 9. This can only be 8 or 9. Okay, 11 going to 8, 17. 1, 2, 4, 7, 7 is 14, 24, 23. That has to add up to 9. So it can't be 9, 0. It can't be 8, 1. It can't be 7, 2. The only thing I can see, it could be 6 and 3. It can't be 5, 4. Can't be 4, 5. So it's 6, 7, 8. Now, that is what that has to be. So let's work out what it is to be first. 6 and 9 is 15, 20, 23. This has to be 7 to make up 30. What else are we working on? 7 and 1 is 8. So 3 numbers adding up to 10. 7, 3, 10, 19, 20. So we're only looking at 6 now to get across here. So it can't be 1 in anyone. So because it's 6, it can't be 5 and 1. It can only be 2 and 4. So let's work that on it. 2 and 4. Okay, so 1 is 10, 11, 25, 24, 9, 21. 3 and 1 is 4, that's 28, 26. So that cannot be 2. This has to be the 4. 4 means this has got to be the 2. Okay, so 4 and 3 is 7 and 1 is 8, 32, 22, 24. So we're looking at 7, 8, 9. This cannot be 6. If it can't be 6, it cannot be 3. So all we know that can go in here is 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 11, 8, 9, 10, 11, 17. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 numbers now then that are adding up to 8. So it can't be 8. It can't be 7 and 1. It can't be 6 and 2. 3 and 5. So it's got to be 5 and 3. Can't be 4, 3, 2, 1. So that is again what that's got to be. So I think we'll quickly finish this off. 21 now less 5, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16 can only be 7 and 9. 9 means this has to be 8. This cannot be 8. 7 and 4 is 11. So 8. Now this cannot be 3. We've now got a matching pair of 1 and 2. So this has to be 3 and 8. 8 means this has to be 7. This has to be 9. 7 and 2 is 9. And 2 means this is 1. That's all the boxes done. Let's check this out. A nice quick one in 11 minutes. As I say, you will get these difficult ones down to around the 10-minute mark. So next time we'll step it up to the top level and we'll go for the expert ones and we'll have a couple of those. Once again, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye for now.